Do you actually show your cat you love them every day? You probably think you do, but here's what nobody tells you. The things most of us do to show our cats we care, they don't land the way we think. Some of them don't register as love at all. A few of them might be doing the opposite. 7 habits, less than a minute each. Start doing them and something shifts. Your cat stops just tolerating you and starts genuinely choosing you. Let's begin with number 1. And fair warning, it's something most people feel a little silly doing. There's a voice you use with your cat. High, soft, slightly over the top. The kind you'd never let a coworker hear. Most people dial it back, feel embarrassed, default to their normal tone instead. Here's why that's a mistake. A 2022 study out of the University of Paris discovered that cats can tell their owner's voice apart from a stranger's, but only when the owner leaned into that warm, exaggerated register. Use your regular voice, and your cat processes it like background noise. Shift into that softer tone, and something clicks. Heads turn, ears move, bodies drift closer. That voice isn't embarrassing. It's the only frequency your cat fully recognizes you in. So tomorrow morning, when you walk past them, when you set down their food, when you catch them watching you from the other side of the room, say something. Anything. The content is irrelevant. What your cat is listening for is warmth, softness, the sound of someone who isn't a threat, and nothing communicates that the way that voice does. Stay with me through number 7, because there's a spot on your cat's body that triggers something even deeper than sound ever could. You've probably seen it. Your cat holds your gaze for a moment, then their eyelids go heavy and slow. Most people assume the cat is just tired, drifting off, uninterested. But that slow blink isn't passive. It's one of the most deliberate signals in a cat's entire communication toolkit, and it's pointed directly at you. In 2020, researchers at the University of Sussex ran a controlled study and found that cats were far more likely to slow blink back at their owners after receiving one, and more likely to approach them afterward, too. The effect showed up with strangers as well, but it was strongest between a cat and someone they already knew. Think about what that means. No food involved, no toy, no physical contact. 3 seconds of soft eye contact and 1 unhurried blink, and your cat interprets it as safety, as affection, as proof you mean no harm. What makes this urgent is the flip side. Unbroken eye contact with no blink reads as aggression in cat language, a stare down, a challenge. Every time you look at your cat without blinking slowly, you might be accidentally sending the wrong message entirely. So make it a reflex. Morning, evening, any moment your cat's eyes find yours, let your lids drop gently and hold. When they mirror it back, that's not coincidence. That's your cat saying, out of everyone, I trust you. Ever held out a toy and gotten nothing back? No pounce, no crouch, no interest. Just a flat stare that makes you feel vaguely judged. That's not a lazy cat. That's a cat whose most fundamental instinct just got ignored. Cats are built to hunt, not as a hobby, as a biological directive. Their brains are wired around a specific sequence: locate, stalk, crouch, explode, catch. Every step of that chain matters. When a toy moves in the same direction, at the same speed, in the same open space, that sequence never gets to start. There's nothing to locate, nothing to stalk, nothing that behaves like something alive. The fix is about movement, not the toy itself. Pull it away instead of pushing it toward them. Tuck it behind something. Let it go still, then move in a sudden burst. Give it somewhere to disappear. The moment your cat's body flattens and their pupils blow wide, that's the sequence activating. That's ancient wiring lighting up. And here's what changes when you do this consistently. A cat who hunts every day becomes noticeably calmer, noticeably more affectionate, noticeably more attached, specifically to whoever gives them that outlet. You stop being the person who feeds them and start being the source of something they're hardwired to need. 5 to 10 minutes. But they have to be real minutes. Here's something most owners never consider. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do for your relationship with your cat is sit down and do absolutely nothing. Bonding, in most people's minds, means contact, petting, playing, offering something. So when a cat is across the room and nothing is happening, it feels like a missed opportunity. It isn't. Your cat is watching, and your presence, calm, close, asking for nothing, is communicating something that no treat or toy can replicate. Wild cats don't demonstrate trust through touch. They demonstrate it through proximity. Choosing to rest near another creature is one of the most vulnerable things a cat can do, and they reserve it entirely for animals they feel safe around. When you sit near your cat without reaching for them, without saying their name, without trying to initiate anything, you're speaking that language. You're saying, "I'm here, and I want nothing from you." That message lands differently than you'd expect. Do it consistently, and the distance closes on its own. First the same room, then the same furniture, then right beside you. A choice they made entirely on their own terms. In a cat's world, that kind of choosing is the closest thing to devotion there is. Most people walk into a room, see their cat, and reach straight for them. It feels like the natural thing to do, affectionate even. But there's a step being skipped that your cat notices every single time. A cat's primary sense isn't vision, it's smell. Before anything else happens in a cat's world, the nose has already been at work. When two cats who trust each other reunite, they don't jump straight to grooming. They make nose contact first. Brief, specific, deliberate. That exchange of scent is the thing that confirms identity. It says, "I know exactly who you are, and you're safe." When a human skips that and goes straight to physical contact, it's not painful, but it's abrupt. It's the equivalent of someone bypassing a handshake and going straight to a hug before you've even registered who they are. Done enough times, it trains a cat to brace slightly every time a hand comes toward them. The fix takes 2 seconds. Before you touch your cat, extend one finger toward their nose and go still. Let them close the distance. Let them read you. When they press into your hand or drag their cheek across your finger, that's consent. That's your cat saying they're ready. That small pause changes the entire texture of every interaction that follows. You become someone who waits. Cats remember that. Be honest. Have you ever picked up a sleeping cat because they looked too good to leave alone? Most people have. They're folded into that impossibly small shape, completely still, and something about it feels irresistible. But what registers in your brain as tenderness registers in your cat's nervous system as something else entirely. Sleep isn't optional for cats, it's biological maintenance. Between 12 and 16 hours a day, their body uses that time to recover, regulate stress, and reset. Deep sleep, specifically, is when every defensive layer drops. Muscles loose, awareness gone, completely open. A cat chooses where to sleep based on one thing: where they feel safe enough to be that exposed. When you lift them out of that state without warning, their heart rate spikes before they're even fully conscious. Claws come out on reflex. And even after they settle, something has shifted in how that spot feels to them. Repeat this pattern, and you'll start noticing where your cat sleeps beginning to change. Higher up, harder to reach, more hidden. They're not withdrawing from you out of mood. They're finding places where the one variable they can't control, you, can't interrupt the moments when they're most defenseless. The habit that fixes this requires nothing. When your cat is asleep, keep walking. Remember the thing I mentioned at the beginning, the spot that goes deeper than your voice? This is it. When bonded cats groom each other, a behavior researchers call allo-grooming, they're not random about where they focus. Almost every session centers on the same zone, the base of the skull, the area between and just behind the ears. There's a specific reason for that. It's the one place a cat physically cannot reach on their own, which means the only time a cat ever feels touch there is when another creature they completely trust puts it there. That exclusivity is the whole point. The belly reads as vulnerable, the chin feels pleasant, but that strip of territory behind the ears belongs to a different category entirely. It's reserved for family, for the ones who have full access. When a cat grooms another cat there, both animals release oxytocin. Not just the one being touched, both of them. A shared chemical signal that says, "This is someone I belong to." You can produce that same response. Every day, use your fingertips to stroke that spot slowly, between the ears, down the back of the head. Not scratching, not pressure. Light, repetitive, unhurried. The same rhythm another cat's tongue would move in. Pay attention to what happens. The eyes go soft and heavy. The body stops holding any tension. The purr changes, deeper, slower. Something you haven't heard before in quite that form. That sound isn't contentment. That's your cat's brain doing what it only does with the people it considers its own. Tonight, when your cat passes every empty corner of the house and settles down next to you, remember that for them, that was never a small decision.